Don't be the message, be the messenger. You've probably heard this saying before within Zinzino or within direct sales. And the reality is that we all have a set amount of time. And it's how we use this time that either will help you build a large business or stop you from building a huge business. So one of the things that I usually see when people start out with Zinzino is that they are very inspired and they want to be everywhere and teach everyone about everything at the same time. And obviously that's good to be inspired and to really want to educate a lot of people in your team. The problem, however, is that if you're going to be the superhero, the superstar that everyone depends on, at one point you're going to reach your limitation of time and your team will stop to grow. So one of the keys and one of the foundations to really build a large customer base and a large business is to constantly lead your team to follow one system, one method of operation. So what is really the Zinzino system? How does it work? And why is it so important to follow? Now, if you look at the definition, Webster defined a system as a group of related parts that move and work together. So how do we create that unity in our team where, everyone follow one method of operation, where one meeting leads to the next, where everyone get more education the further they walk through our pipeline. By the way, we call our system the pipeline because you can actually look at it as a pipe that you go through, and from one meeting to the next you get a little bit more education. So let's take a look at it. The first part of our pipeline, we do short presentations, present the business for potential partners, and we do a lot of customer meetings. We present our products for potential customers. Now, in the mid part of our system or our pipeline is the follow-up meetings, the business presentations, and the business planning sessions. Now, in the last part of our system, we have our events and our leadership training. Time-wise, we can say that 80% of your time is usually used on doing the basics, the customer meetings and the short presentations. About 15% is used on teaching you and also your team how to do the business, so the mid part. And then the last part, we only use about 5% of our time on participating in events and making sure that our team also attend the events. So in many ways, you can say that the first part is what we do. We talk about the product, our business. Then the middle part is how we do it. And then in the last part, our events and leadership training, it's why we do the business. You get more motivation, more inspiration, more knowledge, and a broader perspective, I would say, on why you should do this business and what you can actually also accomplish by doing it. Now, it's a known fact that if you truly want to become successful within any field, you have to have a why behind what you do. Now, if you really don't know why you do what you do, it's easy, or it's difficult, I would say, to actually go out and do the day-to-day work. So by attending the events, like I said, you get a broader perspective. You get clear targets. You learn how to define plans, work according to the plan, and set day-to-day goals. In many ways, you can look at the pipeline as a ladder. And each part of the system that you climb, you get a little bit closer to the top. Now, obviously, it's not just to follow the pipeline once and then you're set for life. You have to go back to the basics and maybe also climb further ahead the ladder one more time. And like I said, each time you do it, you get a better view. It's kind of like you climb a little bit higher up in the mountains. Now, there's always a few critics out there that wonders, why do you use so much time on education? Why is that so important? Or why does it sometimes cost money to attend some of your seminars? Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard about someone that became really skilled within a particular area without some education? Without some skilled training? Have you ever heard about someone that really developed large results within a particular field without some knowledge? Have you ever heard about free education? Some people would maybe say, yes, in Sweden we have free education, in Finland we have free education, in Norway we have free education. Well, is that really, or is that really a delusion? Someone always have to pay the bill, and in many ways, usually, like in Scandinavia, I would say it's the taxpayers paying that bill. Now, obviously, because you're self-employed in Zinzino, you're not employed by Zinzino, you own your own business, you can choose for yourself if you want to participate at these events or if you want to not do it. However, like I said, if you truly want to become skilled within building a huge customer base and learning how to really do this business properly, it's a smart move to actually attend the classes, read the books, and do the things that actually give you more knowledge. So for you that wonders, what does it cost to attend these events? Well, some of them are for free. Others cost, actually the majority costs between 15 euros and 40 euros. And then we have 2 large events each year that cost between 150 to 200 euros. Now, what does this money go to? Well, it goes to cover the room, it goes to cover the technical equipment, sometimes cover the flight costs or hotels for guest speakers that we fly in. Sometimes you get some food, dinner, gala dinner, it's different things, And if you've ever put on an event yourself, you know that it's not for free to actually arrange a huge happening, a large education. But one of the things that I'm very, very proud of is that we managed to do it on a very low cost. If you look at other business events out there, usually they cost like 5 times more for the same type of training that you can get for a much lower cost here. And we do it, sometimes we manage to go break even, very often we lose a little bit of money, but we definitely think it's worth it because we definitely also see the value in giving a lot of education and motivation when it comes to our partners. Now, another thing that I'm actually more proud of, or even more proud of, is also to see the growth within people that attend these events. Not only do you get more skilled and you get more knowledge within the business area, but you see a lot of people get personal growth in all of different aspects of life. You learn sometimes how to become more self-aware. How do you become better with your money? How do you take better care of your health? How do you become better with your relationships? Sometimes how do you become a better husband or a better wife or a better mom or a dad or whatever? So we see a lot of personal growth, and I do believe that that's also a huge, huge benefit on getting the right education. To really build something large, doesn't really matter what you're going to build, you need personal growth. And I do believe that the more books you read, the more CDs you listen to, the more seminars you attend, and sometimes also by getting the right coaching, it's so much easier to speed up the process to develop a large business. Now within Zinzino, we have 6 foundational pillars that we really always work on becoming more skilled at. Number 1, and that's the foundation, I would say, of our business, is to get more personal customers. Manage the skill of getting personal customers. If you really want to build Zinzino, if you really want to do well in Zinzino, you have to have personal customers. And we say 25 is an absolute minimum of being a Zinzino leader. Now, secondly, it's to recruit your own partners, to start your team. And then it's number 3, to teach your partners how to get customers. And then number 4, also teach your partners how to develop their team. Now, number 5 is very, very important, and that is how do you lead yourself. Sometimes this can be a little tricky because there's a lot of people that start out with Zinzino and you've maybe never been self-employed before. You've only been employed by someone else and gotten very specific tasks on what to do each day. And here, you have to lead yourself. You have to set your own targets, make your own plans, and also make sure that you do the day-to-day things that actually lead you closer to your goal. So leading yourself is crucial, and that's number 5. And then it's number 6, and that is to lead your team. Develop your leadership skills when it comes to inspiring other people, giving them the information that is needed, and also making sure that you're not just the message, but that you're leading them to the message and that you're the messenger. You know, it's said that if you truly want to become an expert in any kind of field, it's required 10,000 hours. That's a lot of hours. But I do believe that obviously you can get a lot of expertise by doing a lot of activity. However, I do believe that if you're really going to become good, very good within a chosen field, you need to apply deliberate practice. Well, that means that the quality of how you do a specific task is equally important as the quantity, how much you do it. So let's say that within Zinzino, you can have a lot of activity, have lots of meetings. Let's say that you're extremely effective with how many meetings you do every week. And let's say that one week, maybe you have meetings that leads to 2 customers. And then the other week, you have meetings that leads to 4 customers. And then you maybe duplicate that to 8 and 16 and 32. And obviously it requires a lot of meetings if you're going to be the one signing up 32 customers within 1 week. However, at one point you're going to reach your limitation. You're going to reach your stop. You don't have more hours. And that's what I mean. Then you need the system. Then you need to train your team to follow one method of operation. Because if you train a lot of people to do one task and they feel skilled in that area, suddenly you're going to realize that the 32 customers can duplicate into 64, 128, 256, 512, and 1024. And obviously, it doesn't really duplicate that fast, but I hope you get my picture. The only way you're going to make sure that there is going to be produced more results in a specific amount of time is by more people knowing exactly what to do and following one method of operation. So the better you become at really leading people to a system, the faster you're going to experience that your growth will be, and the more fun it's going to be along the way. So thank you so much for listening in. I hope to see you soon out in the field or at one of our next events.